Thank you, Laura, and thank you to our many partners who are here today to celebrate World Book Night. We have the Fire Department, Salt Lake City's finest, the Fire Department from our Police Department. We're so excited to partner with you. We're excited to partner with the Salt Lake City Library. We have Councilman Rogers here from our Salt Lake City Council. Thank you for partnering with us. And we have Aaron Mendenhall as well. And both Aaron and James will be going out today and helping deliver books, as will our fire department, our police department, and we have many volunteers too, other volunteers who have offered to join us today as we distribute wonderful books to those who may not have a chance to read as much as many of us do. So this is a great day, and we're celebrating World Book Night on the 450th birthday of Shakespeare. So we celebrate the Bard's birthday today and celebrate reading. And I heard on the news this morning that in every country today, there will be a production of Hamlet somewhere. So I thought, just think of the influence of one writer and how that writer has affected all of us, and how reading the writings of Shakespeare have affected us throughout the world in a very, very positive way. So we celebrate reading today, and we really celebrate our community today as well. This is a great time for our community to come together and to share really the joys of reading, and to share the positive things that reading can bring to all of us today. So thank you very much. I'm pleased to represent Mayor Becker, who could not be here with us today, but he did send over a proclamation celebrating World Book Night, and I'll quickly read that before we get on with our program. Whereas Salt Lake City stands committed to promoting the pleasure of reading for all members of the community, from middle and high school students to families and retirees. And whereas World Book Night, a national celebration of Shakespeare's 450th birthday on April 23, 2014, promotes reading in our community and 6,000 communities across America today. And whereas the Salt Lake City Police Department, Salt Lake City Fire Department, Salt Lake City Council, Salt Lake City Administration, and the Salt Lake City Public Library will join with the King's English Bookshop. Betsy, thank you. I'll interject. She's been a great force behind this. And many volunteers. We will all group together to share our love of reading and distribute books throughout the community to those who may not have ready access to printed books. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Ralph Becker, do hereby proclaim April 23, 2014 as World Book Night in Salt Lake City, and encourage all residents of Salt Lake City to recognize the importance of reading. This was signed by Mayor Ralph Becker, and we are pleased to celebrate with all of you World Book Night. There are many great titles that have been distributed for World Book Night. I picked one, The Tipping Point, that I've read, and I'm just going to tell you briefly why I like this book and why it has a relation to today. The subtitle of this book is How Little Things Can Make a Big Difference. And I think this little act of all of us gathering together today to talk about why we love reading and why we want to share the joy of reading with others, that small act can make a big difference. This book talks about a lot of things, a lot of small things that have made a big difference in our lives and in our quality of life. So this is a good pick. This was a good read. I liked this title. We're going to have a few others share their favorite picks from the books available today. So I will turn the time now to Deputy Chief Mike Brown.
Thank you, Karen. Put this up here. Thank you, Betsy. Hey, it's an honor and a privilege to be here today. I'll be brief, but I wanted to share. I had a 20-minute speech written, and I've kind of trimmed it down a little bit. I wanted to share an experience I had this morning with my little boy that really demonstrates how important books are to people. Is that better? Thank you. We read a lot in my house. Unfortunately, my kids are very young, and so I read. Here are the books that I read. I read Duck and Goose, Llama Llama Nighty Night, and Piggly Wiggly. What I wanted to do is, I read, of course, these to my 2-year-old this morning, and I wanted to bring these and show them today as how important they are to people. And as I was gathering these up to leave, my little 2-year-old, Dylan, threw a fit because these are his most valuable treasures, these books. And he loves these books. And it cost me 5 pieces of bubble gum, and I've got to bring a treat home to him tonight for me to borrow these books for 8 hours. What that demonstrates is how important books are. And as we go out into the community it's a real opportunity for us to practice our community-oriented policing policies, to go out, to be a part of the community and not stand apart from. We're much better when we do that. I remember over my career, and I've been here 24 years now, my mustache is now gray, but when I first hired on, I wanted to catch bad guys. That's what all cops hire on to do, is to catch bad guys. But as you go through your career and you look back, some of the most important things in my career have been when I've been able to go into the community, where we used to go out to Jackson Elementary and read with, there was a reading program for kids where we would go in and read. It was an eye-opening experience for me to see how much these kids loved sitting down with cops and reading books, how we came together on common ground through books, and how a lot of barriers were reduced as we sat and read. So my book, as we go out today, is Agatha Christie, After the Funeral, and the reason, who doesn't like a whodunit? And so I'm very excited to participate today in this as the police department, and thank you very much. Next up will be Brian Dale, Deputy Chief Brian Dale, Fire Department.
Good morning, as Chief Brown said, my name is Brian Dale, Deputy Chief for Salt Lake City Fire Department. You know, it's interesting, you talk about your children. My children and I had a little bit of a book club, as it were. My daughter loves to read, my son not so much. And so we started a book club where we had to talk about what the book we were reading and what it would do and what it meant to them, and talk about the characters and maybe how that affected them or was part of their life. The book that I chose, which is one of my favorite books of all time, is Scott Turow, Presumed Innocence. Also, one of the other books, one of his first books was called Innocent, and it's also one of my favorite books. And it's, I guess, being in the public safety world, having the good versus bad, the evil versus good, all the things that goes through this book personally has an impact on how he goes through a personal triumph and a personal deficit with a person he loves who gets killed. But my children and I have gone through a similar thing where we start reading these books. My wife is a mathematics expert, and so I can even comprehend the books that she reads, but I try when she draws me pictures. When you start looking at this, though, it's interesting when we do toy giveaways. We have a chance to go to the road home or other areas, and we do toy giveaways in books. The interesting thing for me, you think most kids would grab for a toy. And when they have books available, a lot of the kids will grab for a book, which was interesting for me to see and to learn that they are interested in these things that some people think, well, there's no buttons, there's no batteries, you know, what about this thing? People can actually escape some of the things that are in their own life. Getting into a book like this enables them to see how others may live. Can also open doors they don't know exist. And so as we look at this is an opportunity for us and our partners to expand someone's world. I think it's a great and worthy thing. Thank you very much. Here.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from the director of the library, John Spears. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Welcome to the City Library. I've been a librarian for about 15 years, and one of the questions that you're always asked when you tell people that you're a librarian is, wow, do you like to read? Short answer, yes. That's one of the reasons we got into this profession. When I moved here from Chicago 9 months ago to take this position, I had a 19-foot U-Haul that contained 2 pieces of furniture and approximately 67 boxes of books. And that was what was most important for me to bring. Books can do a tremendous amount for a community. A community is made up of individuals. Every individual within that community has dreams, has aspirations, and they have things they want to accomplish. It doesn't matter whether you read nonfiction or whether you read fiction. It can help you awaken your curiosity. It can help you better yourself. It can enrich both people as individuals and enrich people in a community. The book that I chose is one that's been kind of important to me throughout my life. If I can find it. Tales of the City by Armistead Maupin. This is a book that is a snapshot of American life in a very particular time, San Francisco in the late 1970s. It tells the story of Mary Ann Singleton, who was a woman who moved from a small town in the Midwest to a big city, and the interactions that she had with Michael Mouse Tolliver, Mona, and one of the main protagonists of the story, Anna Madrigal. It's a story of happiness, of hope, and of tragedy. And over the course of the next 6 books, further tales of the city, more tales of the city, even more tales of the city, and further, you see characters develop. And that is something that books can bring to people. You can see development of people, you can see developments of communities, and you can see development of yourself through those characters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Well, about a year and a half ago, Lara Jones from the police department and Betsy Burton, who'd been working on some projects together, were talking, and Betsy was asking about World Book Night and if Salt Lake City wanted to be engaged in World Book Night. And Lara just quickly jumped on that, and Betsy kind of took the lead on this and really got Salt Lake City involved, and we're so grateful for her and for her work. And she really does stoke the love of reading in our community, and we thank her for all she does, not only for that about reading, but also what she does for small businesses here in Salt Lake City. So Betsy, come share with us.
Okay, what I want to say about World Book Night is that all over this country today, there are people like you meeting with people and handing them books, and not just handing them books, but talking about how these books are going to change their lives. And I, as a bookseller, I can't imagine a more thrilling dream that come true than that. It's just remarkable. And as Karen said, this could really be a tipping point to really get people reading in whole new ways. This is my third year. I went to the Indian Walk-In Center one year, and that was just wonderful with Sherman Alexi's book. I went to the YWCA, and now I'm going to Odyssey House, and I'm giving dog stars. What booksellers do is match books to people. That's our sacred duty. And I thought this was perfect for Odyssey House because this is a book about the world is almost ended. It's a bleak place, and there are two men manning the perimeter of an airport. And marauders are really the only people left. And these two men, one of them is kind of a warrior, the other is a peaceful man, although he does know how to shoot. But he's a pilot, and he flies the perimeter. I won't tell you what happens except to say there's a signal from somewhere that he follows. And there's a love story, there is violence, but there's also hope. It's just a wonderful book. And I'm very excited to see how the people at Odyssey House will like this book. And I hope that people think about matching their books with the people they're giving them to, because that is really a very satisfying thing. You can really change lives if you put the right book into the right hands. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to some authors who are here. Anne isn't here, is she? Okay, so Shannon Hale, who is a towering figure in our community, both with children's books and adult books. You know her from The Princess Academy and Austenland and all kinds of other books. And Josh Hanagarny, who wrote The World's Strongest Librarian and is the world's strongest librarian and also one of the more literate. We'll hear what they both are giving. And Shannon, do you want to come first?
There is no greater compliment for a writer than to hear from somebody that I didn't think I liked to read until I read one of your books, and now I do. To be a gateway into someone for the love of reading is really awesome. And to hear that both from children and adults is a beautiful treasure. As Betsy said, there's the right book for every person, and the right book can change somebody's life. I chose to give away Codename Verity. I'm sorry, I'm an author. I get so emotional about books. We love them almost perhaps too much, but not as much as we love people, because that's why we write. Codename Verity is a beautiful story of friendship and courage, and it begins as probably the world's worst spy is caught and questioned at a German prison. And I'm going to give it to one of my good friends who is a high school English teacher at East High School. And she has so many students who don't own a book of their own. I love to give her books whenever I can, so each one of her students can own their very own book and possibly find something in it that will change their life. Thanks.
I'm also going to be brief, and it's because as soon as I'm done, I'm going to go back up to level 3 and sit down at the reference desk where I work. I am on the clock right now. How many of you saw the movie Snakes on a Plane? Yeah, Samuel Jackson. How many of you would say it was a great movie? Now, when Samuel L. Jackson, I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. It was a terrible homage to 80s action movies where there were a bunch of snakes on an airplane and tough guys with foul mouths had to deal with the snakes. When Samuel L. Jackson got asked, would you rather do stuff like this or get back into the more serious stuff? I'll paraphrase Samuel, which is the only thing to do in polite company. He said, I would do more of these. People have enough drama in their lives. I've thought about that a lot. I chose the book Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. If any of you watched Arrested Development, Maria Semple was one of the writers for Arrested Development. If that gives you any clue of the sensibility that might be behind this book. I say this as someone, I can quote Dostoevsky, I've read all the important stuff, and I believe 100% that good books are the books you like, and that yes, there are times when you simply have enough drama in your lives. 2013 was the year my book came out. Best year and the worst year of my life for some different reasons. This book, this silly little book with a lot of funny lines in it, kind of became my scriptures. I could open to any page at any day and find something that would make me feel better. Books can offer great comfort. They can offer knowledge. They can offer more connections with other people's stories. But ultimately, if it's what you're looking for, they can just be pure fun. Where'd You Go, Bernadette is a story about an architect it's in Seattle. If any of you are not above poking fun at the hipster culture of Seattle, this is the book for you. The mother disappears. She starts to lose her mind in some ways. The book is about her daughter looking for her. It has a kind of a very tidy, sweet ending. But when people say, why do books matter? Why does fiction matter? I can say with 100% confidence, this, for me, at times last year, was everything. This is why books matter. One final thing I'll say, a lot of people said to me, that's a girl's book. Look at the cover. It's blue pastel, and she's got a yellow pastel headband. So be it. If this is a girl's book, I am proud to be the biggest, nastiest, meanest girl in the building right now. Read it. It's fantastic.
Thank you to Josh and Shannon. I think a lot of people don't recognize the fact that we have renowned writers living right in our own community. And we are very blessed to have these writers here with us, and thank you very much. So I hope this has helped make you think a little bit about what important book has influenced your life, how reading has affected your life, and how you can share that love of reading with others and help people find their important books. Today we have a lot of great volunteers that are going to help distribute books to others, and I see a great volunteer in our community, Pamela Atkinson. Thank you for being here today, and thank you to all the volunteers who are here and will be helping distribute books. We have books going out to some of our community learning centers. We'll be going to the Rose Park Community Learning Center. We'll be going to Lincoln Community Learning Center. We'll be going to Jackson and Meadowlark Elementaries. We'll be going to the Riley Sorensen Community Learning Center, the Glendale Mountain View Community Learning Center. We'll be going to Heartland, to the Sorensen Unity Center, to Crossroads Urban Center, to the 4th Street Clinic, to Palmer Court, and to the Road Home, to the Wiegand Center, and to the YWCA. And we are really looking forward to distributing the wonderful books that have been provided through World Book Night and really sharing the love of reading and helping people find those words that can be owned and adopted by others. So thank you to all of you. Thanks again to Betsy, to the police department, to the fire department, to the Salt Lake City Public Library. Thanks to the City Council and to the Mayor's office as well for supporting such a great event. Thank you, and don't forget to read.